has got to go. That's just all there is to it. He's got to go, period. But we have somebody to replace him with. That's just not, he needs to go for the sake of being gone. We can replace him, and we can replace him with our good friend in the California 48th, Harley Rouda. Harley, good morning to you. How are you, man?
Reverend Thompson, how are you?
Just fine. Good to talk to you again. How are things?
Good, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you. Let me ask you this. I was talking about voter registration deadlines. Have we missed? Has California's voter registration deadline passed, or is it pending? Or
Yeah, we've got about a week left in
okay,
California.
okay, so that's important, folks. If you know folk in California, holler at them. Make sure your friends and family are registered to vote. Since last we talked, there's we've learned, or it's been revealed, or not revealed, I should say. Dana Rohrabacher's, am I right? His testimony before the House Intelligence Committee.
Right, has not been released.
Yeah, and that's problematic, isn't it? Because we need to know. There, well, obviously, it's being concealed by the Republicans. It's probably some incriminating evidence in there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Congressman Eric Swalwell, in a op-ed with the Sacramento Bee, called out Devin Nunes to release it and release the transcript of the interview that Congressman Dana Rohrabacher had with the Intelligence Committee. And it's one of very few interviews that has not been released. And Congressman Swalwell actually conducted the interview. He's aware of the interview and knows that it should be released, that there's nothing in there that is concerning from a national intelligence standpoint, but that the American people deserve to know what's in there. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to protect him until after the election in hopes that he gets reelected.
Yeah. How's the campaign going?
Campaign's good, but it's tight. Most polls have us dead even, or me slightly ahead. So it's incredibly tight. I'm proud of the fact that he won by 17 points in 2016, so we brought it a long way. But we just got to get over the finish line on November 6th.
Yeah. So how long has he been? Remind us, been the member of Congress?
Oh, my goodness. Way too long. 30 years he has been there. 30 years, 15 elections, and hopefully his last election will be on November 6th.
Yeah, that's quite long enough. What are you hearing? Well, let me just do this, because we mentioned the Russia piece. In a lot of the congressional districts, Democratic candidates will talk about a lot of issues, not that you don't, but this is probably, because it's Dana, one district where you can really kind of bring up Russia, and that's foremost on people's minds in the district. Am I right about that?
That's true. The interesting thing is, so first of all, we got to talk about this district, the 48th District of California, is in Orange County, California, which has historically been very Republican and very conservative.
Right.
And the fact that we have the opportunity to flip this seat is fabulous. It shows a changing demographics, but more importantly, it shows how out of touch Dana Rohrabacher is with America in general, and specifically the constituents of the 48th District. Not just Russia as an issue. He is on record as saying that homeowners should not have to sell their homes to gays and lesbians, that homelessness is a lifestyle issue. He supports the idea of, and I'm not making this up, training and arming high school students with guns on premises to address the potential of gun violence. Mm-hmm. He supports offshore drilling. He believes climate change is a hoax. He has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from big corporate interests. So it's an individual that is clearly outside the boundaries of what is reasonable, logical, and what we would expect from a member of Congress.
Yeah. He's voted against the Affordable Care Act how many times?
17 times. Yet now he's running a commercial talking about how much he supports health care that addresses pre-existing conditions, even though he's been on a health care plan funded by taxpayers for 30 years. So he'll stoop to no level in an effort to get reelected.
Yeah, yeah. What are you hearing from the voters as you go about, as you participate in town halls and whatnot? How are they articulating their priorities to you, Harley?
It's a great question. And if you'd asked me this 60 or 90 days ago, it would have been the usual national issues, whether it was addressing health care or the decline of middle class jobs or compassionate immigration reform. Any one of those issues that is typically in the forefront of the news. What's transpired in the last 60 to 90 days is there's an issue that's been elevated to the top, and that is this concern, this rightful concern that our democracy is under attack. The foundation of our republic is under attack. And while we expect foreign adversaries pursuant to geopolitical events to constantly attack us, what we're seeing now is, at best, members of the Republican Party and the President of the United States turning a blind eye to those attacks, or worse, potentially being involved.
Yeah.
So I think it's a clear indication for all of us more than ever that this is our time. This is our time to be engaged, our time to step up, our time to vote, and our time to make sure that we take our democracy back.
And so voters are talking about that in the 48th district. They're concerned about that.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's just the 48th district. I think that's
Yeah.
a growing concern across the U.S.
Yeah, yeah. How much do you think Harley Rouda with us, folks? And I'm noticing I'm on Harley's Instagram. Folks, I hope you're following us on our stream, too, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make it plain. I see you with Vice President Biden a few days ago. What was that like, Harley?
Gosh, I love Uncle Joe. His passion, his authenticity, his ability to fully understand the issues and talk about them and talk about how important it is for us to address them in a way that feels right as Americans was just an uplifting message for all of us.
And how much is the Kavanaugh debacle, do you think, is a factor in the 48th district? How much is that on voters' minds, particularly women voters in your district?
It is a big issue, and it goes back to my earlier comment about common decency, and just applying basic decency, logic, and rationale to what we expect from our politicians. And it was clear over the last 2 weeks from the outcome of seating him on the bench to his conduct in the hearings to the President of the United States mocking Dr. Ford. We deserve better. We truly deserve better. And even Dana Rohrabacher, who I'm running against, weighed in, and I think the exact quote was, "Give me a break," when talking about her testimony and allegations. And it's unfortunate that the number of allegations of sexual misconduct or worse that women across the U.S. have experienced, to have our president act the way he acted in this just provides a chilling effect for those who should feel comfortable coming forward. We want to come forward, yet we have a president doing just the opposite.
Yeah. You're right. You mentioned that this is the 40, we're talking to Harley Rouda too, folks. 48th district has been a Republican district, but what are the demographics of the electorate, Democrat versus Republican? Are those numbers, is it still somewhat lopsided, or is it evening out some, Harley?
Yeah, it's a great question, and just to kind of level set for your listeners, here in Orange County is right below Los Angeles. It represents this district represents 80% of the coastline of Orange County and includes towns that most of your listeners have heard of, such as Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, being the part of the beach communities here, and Aliso Viejo and Costa Mesa. And while it's historically had a stronger Republican registration, we've seen that decline over the last 5 to 10 years, and changing demographics with increasing Latinx and Asian population in the district. And that, coupled with the Republican Party going off the deep end on the right, has caused a real shift in where people put their support for the respective parties.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good thing. And what about, speaking of women? What about the gender demographic? What's the breakdown? You have a lot of women voters in the 48th.
We do, and we have typically highly educated women. And in the polls right now, I think I have a 13-point lead with women.
Mm-hmm.
And in my speeches, I really talk about how important the women leadership has been in bringing our country to where it is right now. From the day after the inauguration, women have shown us, from the Women's March on, that we do not have to take the Trump agenda sitting down, that we can stand up, we can fight back, we can resist. And my wife teases me. We've been married 28 years. She teases me that I'm the perfect candidate, except for the fact I'm not a woman.
The Russian attorney, I guess she was, and her name escapes me. The one in Trump Tower. Her name escapes me for the moment. It'll come back to me. Dana met with her, didn't he, before the Trump Tower meeting itself, didn't he?
Well, Dana, yes, and Dana Rohrabacher's connections with Russia go well beyond that, and that's part of what was revealed in the investigation of him by the House Intelligence Committee. So in addition to meeting with Russian operatives, meeting with accused Russian spies, to receiving checks from convicted felon Paul Manafort, to idolizing Putin, to having Kevin McCarthy, who may be the leader of the Republican caucus, state that he believes two people are paid by Putin, Trump and Dana Rohrabacher. And to make sure everybody understands, Kevin McCarthy is a Republican. Mm-hmm. So to have those kind of comments, clearly he is engaged in with the Russian political system in a way that is not benefiting the United States. And I actually talk about that. When you talk about spy vernacular, you're either a spy, an asset, or a useful idiot.
Yeah.
And where Dana Rohrabacher may fall on that spectrum, time will tell, but he's certainly not serving the constituents of the 48th District or Americans in general with his constant affection for Russia.
Natalia Veselnitskaya, that's the name I couldn't recall. Yep. But yeah, they did have that meeting. Okay, so folks, this is important. Next week is the last chance to register in California. Get in touch with those of you who aren't in California. Get in touch with your family and friends. Be sure they're registered. Then we want you have family and friends in the 48th to tell them to vote for my man Harley Rouda. Now, Harley probably, I'm assuming he does, unless he tells me otherwise, still needs some money. Right, Harley? Are you good? You don't need no more money? Are you good? What's up?
It's unfortunately in politics, money makes a big difference. And along those lines, I'll share a couple things with you. One is there's an old adage that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to change campaign finance is to get Democrats elected and hold them accountable to make changes. And I'm prepared to do that. So, I hope everyone will go to remember Harley Rouda. Go to harleyforcongress.com and support our campaign to make sure that we can flip this seat in an effort to take back the House.
That's right. Harley Rouda, and forgive me, Harley, I forgot if I've been mispronouncing your name. but HarleyRouda.com. And as he said, we're so close to taking back the house. I mean, and the other thing that's important, folks, don't take this for granted. You remember Harley? A lot of folk figured in the 2016, oh well, it's no big deal. She's going to win anyway, and some of those people didn't vote as a result. So don't assume that we're going to win the house. Don't assume that Harley's just going to win on his own. We need each and every one of you to vote, and each and every one of you to make donations. Harley, I know, is taking small dollar donations too, right, man?
That's right. That's right. And as President Obama has stated, get out and vote. And if you have gotten out to vote, make sure you help others get out and vote. And if you've helped others get out and vote, then give money to help others get others out to vote.
That's right. That's right. Harley Rouda, folks, who is running in the California 48th against Dana Rohrabacher. Harley, again, man, congratulations on all you're doing. We're very, very proud of you. We're supportive of you. And if there's more we can do, let us know. If we need to talk again.
Thanks, Reverend.
You're always welcome. Okay, man? You're welcome here.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, take care now. HarleyRouda.com for the California 48th. 866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748. We're going to get ready for Elizabeth Warren, too. She's going to be joining us momentarily. In the meantime, happy to take your calls. Join us. Those of you watching our stream will sign off for now. You can join us back here in this space, same space that you're watching. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube make it plain once Elizabeth Warren joins us. We're also on Instagram today, Minister with 2 T's. We're going to keep rolling on Instagram, though, through the hour. So we're going to sign off on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube for a few minutes. Pick us up on Instagram if you want to see. Stay on the radio if you want to